What's going on, everyone? Michael Martin here from Yahoo Esports. I got next this week. It's new Street Fighter V character day today, as of this recording. Ed, if you have not seen, the trailer is already out there. I'm sure if you're interested in Street Fighter V at all, you've probably already seen it. So I want to talk about Ed, of course. I want to give you my thoughts, but I want to run down this trailer, actually, which is something I don't usually do. But before we dip into the trailer, here's a brief primer on young Commander Ed, as Capcom calls him. He was previously seen in Rose and Balrog's endings in Street Fighter IV, known as Bandage Boy. I almost wish they would have kept that name. Rescued and apparently trained by Balrog, Ed appears in Street Fighter V, of course, if you played any of the story modes, sporting that white hoodie and some of that psycho power. He also seemed a bit younger and scrawnier than the young commander we see now, and apparently that's because life comes at Bison clones fast. Anyway, before the trailer dropped, what did we know? Ed's existence was leaked briefly on the PlayStation Store last week. They posted some information on the Season 2 character pass and then took it down. Capcom announced we would get the full reveal Monday, May 8th. Prior to that, someone might have hit publish a little too soon on some images of Ed over the weekend, and we got our first real look at the brawny blonde Bison clone. Well, it's Monday, as of this recording, and Ed is on full display in the trailer, so now that you're all caught up, let's go over it real quick. So Ed's intro starts off showing him and some of his quick hands, and of course that Shadowloo uniform that has some people up in arms over the hat. So they're not really feeling the brim. I don't know. Look, I kind of dig the costume. It's very Bison-esque. The hat's a little weird. It makes him actually look like a Bison doll more than anything. And remember, he is supposed to be a clone of Bison. Bison keeps changing bodies. That's why he has different body styles apparently throughout all the different games. He has clones. Someday he's going to grow up to be a big M-Bison. I don't know. His gameplay opens up with what seems like some sort of target combos and a special hands attack. Not all that different from something we see with Colleen's special moves. Also, maybe something like DeCapre, although it doesn't appear to be forward moving like hers was in the past. Her daggers, whatever you want to call it. Ed also has an uppercut launchers and a roundhouse kick that crush counters. Crush counter obviously being very important in Street Fighter V if you play the game. That's where a lot of your damage comes from. So he lands this crush counter and follows up with a special kick move that launches Balrog in the air and hits him downward with another hit, similar to, I guess what, like Bison's jumping fierce? In these few moments, you can really see the inspiration taken from Balrog and Bison, not just as how the character looks, but some of his gameplay. Some of the boxer mentality, the normals or specials from Balrog, as well as Bison's psycho power. I'm a little surprised. Right here we see his V reversal. It's pretty much the same as Colleen's. Sometimes I think we feel like the V reversal designs are, I don't want to say lazy, but not all that interesting. And Ed's appears to go full screen, which will make it hard to chase down or throw him out of the other side like you can with Colleen. One example with Colleen is if players have me trapped in the corner, I play Colleen obviously. If players have me trapped in the corner and they're expecting a V reversal and I go to the other side, they usually punish that with a throw or, you know, some hit, whatever. Ed, I guess that's not possible since he goes so far across the screen. A couple more combos shows how he can juggle hits with his EX moves. Then he moves on to this fight with the big man himself, which I guess technically in the future will be himself. I don't know. One thing I want to note, he was trained by Balrog, it appears, but he has a cross-up. So even his trainer doesn't even have a cross-up. +1 for Ed. The next few combos really show off a lot of different things. Crouching Fierce Punch, Crush Counter, special moves that are sort of, I guess, like dash punches, but maybe they're also able to be charged for a Psycho Ball at the end, similar to what Bison has in Street Fighter V. Again, we're seeing a lot of that influence between Balrog and Bison, as well as some other characters, not just DeCapre, but, you know, I've seen people online kind of call out some moves that look like a certain Fatal Fury character, or even, again, DeCapre, who was a Bison doll, one of the many. Then, this is one of my favorite parts, when we get to see things like the V-Trigger. Ed activates his V-Trigger. It's called the Psycho Cannon, and it releases a giant purple projectile. I just talked about DeCapre. It slowly moves forward. Ed can move forward with it, continuing to attack, add on to combos and things like that. If you remember, DeCapre has an Ultra from Street Fighter IV. That's pretty much the same thing. We don't get to see it much in this trailer, although you've probably seen videos or images prior to that with Ed's V skill, which is called the Psycho Snatcher. I don't know about that name, but sure, whatever. But depending on the charge on this move, it can either pull you closer to your opponent or your opponent closer to you, kind of like Scorpion Spear in Mortal Kombat. Finally, there's a get over here move in Street Fighter V. You can also grab someone out of the air with it. And then Ed's critical art, the Psycho Barrage. If any of the punches in this move lands, it's going to pull you into his critical art, and it's just a flurry of like these psycho-infused punches and finally uppercuts. Again, another call out to his boxer and dictator influences. So finally, the trailer ends by showing off Ed's story and battle costumes. So if you're a fan of the white hoodie, it's still in there. If you don't like the goofy hat, well, you can replace that with his battle costume, which is the bison hat and cape, the bare chest, and the boxer gloves. From a gameplay perspective, Ed might be the most unique character we've seen yet in Street Fighter V. According to his move list on the Street Fighter V website and some information on the Capcom Unity blog, all of Ed's special moves require either rapid button presses, holding buttons down, or hitting multiple buttons. There are no special motions like fireballs or dragon punches needed. His critical art is the only move that requires a motion. So initial reactions might peg this as making him easy mode for players, but I'm not so sure about that. Remember, you have to consider button presses and holding buttons while trying to play offense, defense, or the neutral game. As far as how excited I am for the character, I'm incredibly happy he continues this trend of all new, unique characters. This is a pretty big departure for Street Fighter archetypes. I adore Colleen, and somehow she's made me reassess how I see and think about the game, and I feel like I'm better for it. I just feel like Ed brings something unique to the table, and I really like that this character pass in Season 2 is focusing on that. Ed shows me that Capcom wants to think outside the gameplay box, and I like that. I like that a lot with these Season 2 characters, and that's what I want more than anything. These next 3 characters I'm more curious about than ever, just because I want to see what unique properties they bring to Street Fighter V. So, enough about me and what I think. Tell me what you think. Do you like Ed so far? What do you like or not like? How do you think he's going to fit Season 2 Street Fighter V meta? Because, you know, we're probably not going to see this guy in competition right away. It's going to be a few months. We're barely seeing Colleen's as it is. So how do you think he'll fit in Street Fighter V? Let me know in the comments, of course, on this video. Or hit me up on Twitter at Bizarro_Mike, 1Z, 2 R's. And as usual, don't forget every week, Conversations and Fireballs, a nice casual conversation with FGC players and personalities. Until then, we'll see you next time.